Alright folks, your boy Versus here, All Pro Football 2K8. I did a video about 2 days ago and I've got several comments saying why was the defensive line pass rushing, I'll say pass rushing in the way that they were. It was late that night and I was saying blitzing, and I will admit that they were not blitzing.
Okay, very bluntly, there's two people that can shut the browser right now. Number one, people who think this is a versus bash video, and people don't want to see this. The crushing grip of logic got 119 likes to 3 dislikes in 2 days, which means it's more highly rated than videos I've had up for over a year. Trust me, someone liked seeing this. Secondly, for the person that's about to believe the excuse the versus is going to give you that he was too tired to understand core football principles and fundamentals, you can turn it off too, because you're not going to like what you're about to see.
But it was pretty late. I made a video earlier, a Madden video where I was calling Dominic Cromartie, Antonio Cromartie. As I said, it was pretty late, and my bad on that one. But that does not excuse the fact of what's happening. But I've got several comments under that video stating that I shifted the line, but I didn't shift the line, and there was no manipulation there. So I'm going to show you exactly what was happening in that video. Now let's watch and see what happens. You can see I'm on defense. Um, they're running the no huddle, and I'm just going to control the free safety here. And you will see the defensive line do the exact same thing that they were doing in my past videos. You've seen Leslie O'Neal, as well as the rest of the defensive line. They will do the same animation and rush the quarterback the same way. As you see this for the second time. There was no line shift whatsoever. I'm recording this on my PVR, so it captures the whole screen. As you see.
You know, it does capture the whole screen. It captures what you're missing because what you're trying to do is get to the play at the end, which I'm not going to defend. But what is undefendable to me is everything you ignore to get to that point. Let's take a good look at what's going on in this play. Here you can see that the defensive end and the linebacker are actually keyed on the halfback and the flats. Meanwhile, you are controlling the safety and leaving the middle of the field open while the tight end breaks to the inside right into the quarterback's line of vision. So obviously it makes no sense to me why you are committing 3 people to the flat, including your own user control player, and allowing the tight end to cut across empty into the center of the field when obviously this is a 2-minute drill. You should be commending the AI for throwing to the middle of the field only because you had your own player out of position and left the middle of the field open.
They do the same pass rush every time. Some people thought that I was controlling Leslie O'Neal, but that is not the case.
Again, a little bit more clear here. You can see Leslie O'Neal is looking out at the halfback going to the flat. This isn't an instance where he's controlling anything. He just doesn't understand what's going on in terms of football. You can see again, Versus himself as the user has completely overcommitted to the outside. The tight end is completely exposed. The linebacker covering has his back turned. And obviously the quarterback has an open line of vision. And not only that, the linebacker on the other side is strafing.
As we can clearly see here, excuse me, they will do the same animation, the same type of pass rush again and again. This does not happen on every play, but it does happen in this game, and I'm showing that it's happening. And I think it only happens when you crash to certain sides, but this crash is unrealistic. No defensive line crashes like this. As you see, everyone is in man coverage. Some people thought that Leslie O'Neal was in the zone, but as you can see, it's just a 2-man. It's just a flaw in this game that they do this.
Okay, it's not a flaw in this game. You just don't understand football. It's very apparent, even if you look at the procedural awareness, what those two players are doing. It's also very apparent what's about to happen once the pass is thrown. You just don't understand that.
And they will continue to do this if the computer keeps running the no huddle. And let's continue. As you can see, I am calling no audibles.
He's not calling an audible, but he's controlling exactly what the line assignment is. Razor left, base, or razor right, which is controlling where the line is going.
And I'm not shifting the line whatsoever. Let's see what happens.
Let's see what happened, because, again, you selected what the line was doing. Tell me now, while the defensive end, now that you've switched the line, is still keyed on that halfback. And as a matter of fact, when we go to the next frame, you can see that he recommits once the halfback sits down on his route. But this isn't something that you want to bring up. When we take a look at what really causes the pressure, it's the defensive tackle that pulls a rip move on the lineman. You look over here, the other situation is you've got good coverage across the board, and unlike before, you're actually playing decent position as the safety. What's going to result is a coverage sack. Mainly because now with you as the safety in position, the option to the middle of the field is no longer there.
As you can see, they crash in the opposite direction. Yet the same animations, the same manner. This guy, number 94, is not playing the zone. Yet he will do this every time.
I want you to take a careful note of how this defensive end follows the halfback. He's not running a half circle to get around to the quarterback. He's actually following the halfback out. But this isn't a point that's being made, because that, again, would not aid the argument that's trying to be done here.
As you can see, they are crashing to the right and crashing to the left. And I am controlling the free safety, and I am not manipulating no one. And yet it still happens. As you can see, the guy fuses through the wide receiver.
But this is what he wants to resort to. He'll ignore all these key, crucial aspects of football. But let's talk about some player warping.
Let's keep going. As you can see the time on the clock, I am not shifting anyone. There they go again.
Now, you know what? Here you go again. It's clear you're not doing this for anything constructive. You're playing the game to get a desired effect. You're stopping, making a video on that effect. And in doing so, it's proven in this example that you've created, you're willing to ignore everything else because you just want to show one little thing. What really happens in this play is actually quite intelligent by the AI. You can see that, yes, now that the halfback has decided to stay in to protect the quarterback, you have made no changes to the defensive play. So the defensive end is coming around completely different than he was before at a different angle. The halfback has stayed in a block, and the linebacker that was in man coverage with that halfback is now blitzing automatically. That is an AI change I just don't think you see in any other game, but you're willing to ignore this to prove your point.
And they will get the sack. And let's see exactly how they got the sack. Let's look at the offensive line this time, not just the defensive line, but the offensive line. Both the offensive and defensive line is unrealistic on this play. There's no way a defensive line crashes like this. They can crash to the right or to the left, but not like this. They don't do this. And the offensive line don't just stand there like this guy. He's a statue. And he picks up the block only because my guy runs into him. Let's look at the other side. They're statues. They're just standing there. They have no awareness. They have no idea what's going on with the quarterback. They're just going to stand there. As I said, the offensive line and the defensive line, there's no way that this is representing real football.
Actually, there have been a lot of incidences in this play that do represent real football. However, you were just keyed on the one that isn't.
Not on this play. There are some things in this game that are pretty good, but not this. This is inexcusable.
to me, what's inexcusable is the length in which was taken to get here. The things that were ignored, the fact that the computer AI did make adjustments. They threw to the tight end when you were out of position, to the middle of the field in the 2-minute warning. You neglect to say that you have changed what the line is doing in terms of flipping the play. And yet you haven't brought up the fact that when the halfback is not running out to the flats, that changes how the ends, in fact, play the quarterback. We also don't know what your fatigue settings are, what your blocking settings are, and more importantly, how your team is constructed as a pass rush or how the other team is constructed as a run-stopping team. I'm not defending the fact that these offensive linemen stood there. My point is, a lot of things were overlooked to get to this point, and generally I feel when Versus makes videos, he'll play the game this exact way for 2 quarters to set up a scenario and then make a video about it and pretend it was happenstance. So from now on, what are you going to do with all this created negative footage you force out of the game?
And I will continue to show it, despite what anyone thinks or how many videos get made about me. They will not stop the videos being made. So I say, you're just wasting your time. This is not real football right here.
No, actually, I'll say you're wasting your time because your credibility has been taken down by so many people. You can make videos about whatever you want, but the people that are going to believe them are going to dwindle in numbers day by day.
There's no way an offensive line, 2 offensive linemen just stand there like this. Why am I making videos on a game that came out in 2007? Because I can. I can make a video about Tecmo Bowl. I can make 50 videos about double dribble if I see fit. It's my channel. I have that freedom to do so. As you can see, I am controlling the free safety. I'm not controlling anyone on the offensive line or the defensive line. I am not calling shifts, audibles, or anything. This is not real football right here. Yes, some things in this game are pretty good. I will continue to say it, but I will not say that all the things in this game represent real football. That is absolutely false.
You know what amazes me, what has my hands out, is the comments that Versus accepts on his moderated pages. Let's keep it real. Apex, myself, Brozales, and Smitty all have an agenda, and that is to kill EA and bring competition to the market. I get their point, but the way they're choosing to do it is what I have a problem with. They just give backbreak on all pro football passes. Who the hell cares about how long the game has been out? You're still expected to be unbiased, period, and that's where people are starting to see that they're being phony in that aspect. And Versus responds with, that certainly appears to be true. Well, let me explain to you something. What I just did was not being biased at all. What I just did was keeping it real. Now, as far as this comment goes, evidence is paramount, and you know what Ryan Moody's excuse is. The game is 3 years old. Apex, Ryan Moody, Brazil, Smitty, and Zor, just be objective, and it comes across like y'all some EA haters. No, what I just did was completely being objective and showing you everything in a play, not just what I wanted you to see. And by the way, Versus, I love how you moderate your comments, but allow Moody is a piece of shit. He thinks he knows football. He doesn't. East Coast assholes. Haha. Well, guess what, Crime Spree High? I just shit on your boy. He knows nothing about football, and he is so willing to ignore everything good about a game. He will burn down his own house to get to mine, and he will paint himself in a corner to prove a point. And any of you who think that his opinion is worth listening to after these videos, I don't know what to tell you, but obviously you're wrong.